Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday to you. This is Tony with Rebel Financial. Thanks for joining us again. Today, I am here with Rebecca Wiggins from AFCPE, which is the Association of Financial Counseling and Planning Education. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, great. I'm glad you were able to make it. So, I'm going to let you, of course, I'm going to turn it over to you, but you represent a group that is really financial coaching an association, and to help financial literacy, right? And that's kind of an offshoot of what we do hand in hand at times and sometimes in conjunction. But why it's so important and why I'm glad we're talking is people are really bad at their finances, especially as they're young or starting up. And I think one of the worst things is when people kind of dig a hole, they really struggle, and it just gets worse and worse. And I think people really feel helpless at times. And so I think there's a great usefulness in talking possibly, to a coach. And so let's start. Tell us exactly who your association, who belongs to your association. Let's start with that.
So, well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's really a great conversation because as you guys are focused more on the financial planning side, we are focused more on, as you said, financial counseling, coaching, and education. So really that foundation to get to a financial planner. And so the people that are part of our organization, are part of our network and our membership, are personal finance professionals. They can be anywhere from, a nonprofit individual, somebody that's working in a local, community-based organization doing financial capability work. They might be at a university, in the military. So really anyone who is passionate about personal finance or financial education, who's doing one-on-one or group counseling or coaching, that's sort of their home. And so it could be financial planners, it can be financial counselors, it's kind of the whole family. And that's what we're really trying to do, is bring together the field and make it more integrated and raise the standards for the financial counseling and education space.
Right. And so ultimately then trickling down, of course, to the folks out there who need it. So what I want to do is go over this, but the associations for professionals who then help people. And so we want to show those resources too for folks as they're looking for an AFC, which we'll get into those accreditations in a minute. We want to be able to show people where they can start to find this, because in our profession, we are looking at people who have probably made it a little bit in their life, right? Not the ones that are really needing the basic help. And so when somebody calls me, for instance, and wants that help, I'm happy to have the conversation with them, but I can't have the long-term commitment with them because I don't want them necessarily, they're not ready to become a client, because becoming a client with us is a financial commitment. But I do want to make sure that they do have the help somewhere, and that's where you guys,
and they're taken care of.
And they're taken care of, right? And they can get that answer. So that's the relationship between you all and CFPs, for instance.
I think it's important too, just to mention that, most, we sort of skim over the part that this isn't taught in schools. So most of us, unless we learned from our parents, even mistakes from our parents, or we had someone in our life that was teaching us, these different principles, some of it is common sense we think about, but a lot of it, if we haven't been taught that, how would you know? And so to your point earlier, when you get in that hole or you have that crisis, there's a little bit of shame sometimes that comes in with saying, I need some help. And that's what we're trying to say, is there really is no shame involved. None of us were really taught, or most of us weren't taught a lot of these things. And so that's where our profession can really help, and then refer on to licensed financial planners when they get to that point.
Well, and that's a great point, because the number one reason people don't come to see financial advisors is because they're embarrassed or something. And we could really help at times. The pitfall of that is, of course, you have a lot. You have so many companies out there trying to grab your money and to put you, not to put you in a bad position, but it does inevitably happen that way. So, so let's do this. I want to talk a little bit about your association, and for those advisors out there or mentors that think that this might be useful to them, I want them to be able to see exactly the process of how this can benefit them and what they need to do. You guys have a great website, so we'll spend more time than normal talking on your website. So afcpe.org is where you're going to go to this. I know we'll be posting. So you want to drive a little bit and talk. So let's talk about if somebody is interested in helping people, let's talk about the certification and training, what they need to do. So
yeah, so I would say, and we were talking a little bit earlier about this as well, that if it's something that you're interested in, most people don't even know, first of all, that this is a career path. So there are a lot of students that are now, just like they do to prepare for the CFP exam, they can prepare if their university program is approved in the same way, and then they can sit for the AFC. But we're still trying to get that word out that if you're interested in finance and you're interested in helping people and you really have that passion for almost like social work, counseling, coaching, this is the perfect sort of start for you. And you can always go on and get your CFP as well. It's a really stackable credential. So the AFC is the Accredited Financial Counselor. It is set up similarly in terms of the framework of the CFP. So you have to get experience hours, you have to pass a rigorous exam, you have to sign a code of ethics and do continuing education. And so for somebody who's interested, the concepts of the AFC cover everything. It's really the full life cycle of a person's financial life. So everything from credit and debt, basic financial management, saving, retirement, some housing, insurance, investing, estate planning, just from the educational lens. So that's where the CFP goes much more in depth. They're not licensed to sell products. So once you get your AFC, you're really working with people from an education standpoint through that counseling approach.
Right. So, and a point to that, there are so many accreditations out there that you could send in a postcard and get your accreditation,
exactly,
right?
Yes.
It's probably easier to marry people than, as I said earlier, and that you guys really have a rigorous process to making sure that somebody is, a good understanding of helping people.
Yeah, we believe that's a foundation of our belief system, is that all people deserve access to the highest level of professionalism, just like you expect for licensed financial planners. I mean, we know that that's rigorous. We know what you have to do to earn that degree or that designation, and we want that same level of professionalism for people who may be struggling. And so most of our folks are working with low to moderate income populations, and we believe that those people deserve that same level of unbiased, really high level training out of the professional that they work with.
Right. So if you're thinking that you are somebody who might be able to use this help, as you see here on the website, I would start there, where you can become a member. You can see what people have done, but right next to this, right here, you can see about finding an AFC.
Right.
So you'll know that they have that good accreditation and they've gone through the process.
Right, and we have that oversight. So that's an important part, both with like the CFP as an example and the AFC. It's really important to have that oversight body to make sure that you didn't just go through the program and then no one's sort of tracking what you're doing in the field. We have that quality assurance. So we make sure that people are maintaining their continuing education and they're staying current in the field. The important thing, and I know we'll talk about it in a minute, is really the network as well. And that's where our membership comes in. You don't have to be certified to be a member. But that network also is so critical because it brings people from all over the field, and it's helping you to share and best practices and research and all of that stuff. So it really helps you to keep growing as a professional as well.
Okay. Well, listen, we only have so much time here, so what I wanted to, here is where you could really see who would be best suited for being able to help you with those situations. So as you come down on that first link, the accreditations and what people go through, to make sure, as somebody who needs something, you can see exactly what their training is. But again, on the other side of that, if this is something that you think might interest you, this is a great way to be able to find out what is necessary, what you need to go through, and what the costs are, and all those things. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, we also have a financial coaching certification, and a lot of planners are starting to be interested in getting that type of skill and technique. So if that's something you're interested in, we also offer that from a financial planning standpoint.
Well, and that's an excellent point. I mean, whoever you're working with really needs to be able to listen and hear and work with you on the specific issues you have.
Exactly.
And that's some of the training that's going to help and make sure that they can do that. So you're not just talking to a wall trying to figure out your problem. So, that's another reason why it's important. So the Resource Center here, we can, one of the things is we're on the main site, I think it was on the main site when we talked about sponsors and all. The military is a big part of who you guys work with, who sponsors you. And right?
Yeah, we have about 20% of our organization are focused in military financial counseling, and so that is, and we work with funders for like our Military Spouse Fellowship. The FINRA Foundation provides funding to make that possible for military spouses to get the AFC, which is huge because military spouses are often underemployed or unemployed because they have to move around so much. So it's become a really great way to get a meaningful but portable career. And we do work with lots of different partners, not just the military,
Right.
but of course, we were talking earlier about USAA Educational Foundation, FINRA Investor Education Foundation as well. But we have lots of great national partners as well that are really interested in raising the standard and making sure that we're getting the best quality program and help out to the people that need it.
Well, and something that was of interest to me, 50% or 49%, you said?
Yes.
Of your, what was
Yeah,
it?
but 49%, we just did a recent survey of our professionals that are sort of in our AFCPE network, and 49% of our association are people of color. And so we're really proud of that. We are very diverse. We're very focused on diversity and inclusion, and making sure that our professionals understand what they're doing with clients from a lens of equity. And so we're really leading the field in that, and I'm really proud of that.
No, that's awesome. So, and you've been doing this for how long now? Because you've been with them for a while.
Yes. Oh gosh, going on 14 years. And I've been in this role for almost 7 now, and I love it. I love the people. I love the mission. Our team is fantastic. So it's really a meaningful career.
So let me digress for a second. We'll come back to this. But as the executive director, what is over the next couple of years? What is something that you're pushing? I mean, what's important to you that you think the direction you need to push more in?
Well, we're working on getting more people certified, of course, through the nonprofit world, through credit unions. Anybody who's really doing this work, who's working one-on-one with people who are struggling financially, should get certified and raise that level of professionalism. We're also working on things like best practices for closing the racial wealth gap. It's a huge issue. So issues of inequality we're really focused on, and how our professionals can be part of that solution in building economic justice.
Yeah. A side point to that, I mean, when we had this big downturn in 08 and 09, you were with them at the time, right?
Yes.
But not as executive director, I understand. I think people were in a better financial position at the time, and that's not saying much. But I think now we've had these lots of good years of a run, and we're going to have a pullback in the economy at some point. And I don't think that people are, not only are they not better, they're probably in a worse position. So if we did have another 08, 09, that would really be, I think, even more detrimental to people. So I encourage people to start to take the steps to improve your financial life. So a little digressing there. So one of the things I want to talk about, because just for the time's sake, is this is a great, first of all, the website as a whole is a great resource. But for those that are thinking about this, this is a great piece here. It's the membership benefits, and it's 36 pages, so there's a lot. So, but here, anywhere, I'll let you scroll down if you want. Anywhere, anything in particular we should be mentioning here?
I would say this year the biggest thing is, so our membership, as I said earlier, it brings together the field. So we have everybody from, and we talk a lot about this continuum of care. So everything from financial education, counseling, planning, and financial therapy, which is a new part of the field that's emerging even. So that's what's unique about AFCPE. It brings together the researchers and the practitioners from all over those sort of areas of specialty. And that's, you don't have to be certified, as I mentioned earlier. So it's a great way even to just sort of dip your toe, get the resources, the information from this part of the field. And then, if you choose to go on and go through one of our trainings or certifications, that's great too. But this year, I would say the biggest thing is that your AFCPE webinars that we put on for continuing education are included now in your membership, which is quite honestly a steal, because membership's only $150 a year, and you get all the resources plus now your continuing education. So that's really great.
Well, so one of your partnerships is with the Financial Planning Association. I'll have to pay to go to that, and your members won't have to. So, and that's perfectly fine. It all works out. So, so the other thing I want to point out, if you do become in AFC, you guys really help people. You help people find members as well. So. Let me just go back to that real quick. But this is a great brochure, as we're running out of time, but it's a great brochure for folks to come to if you want to see exactly what the benefits are. But here is where I'm talking about. So everybody who's in a member is going to have their own login there. But
correct. All their resources will be on that. You have sort of like your own dashboard, so you get all the access to all of your resources, and everything is right there for you.
Yeah, and so I could see, the push, like you said, with the credit unions. You want to make sure they know to send people to the website, because here you can go in there and query.
That's right.
For the local, for a local one.
Yeah.
So anything else? I mean, I'm trying to think of, some of the things we talked about. So if somebody wants to become one, any specific qualifications if they want to be an AFC? I mean.
Yeah, I would say a couple of things. First is if you're just interested in getting a high quality training, maybe you're just somebody who, like we talked about earlier, you never got the education. You can actually go through our Money Management Essentials course, which is, it's not the certification, but it's sort of a stepping stone to that. You could always go on then and get the AFC certification. So that's a good thing for whether you're in the profession or not, as just an educational training. The AFC, you don't have to have a bachelor's degree. You can just be passionate about the field and helping people. You do have to go through the education requirement, though, to do that. So you'll have to complete the competencies and then sit for the exam and have 1,000 hours of field experience. And you can get that while you're studying for the exam as well, which is helpful. But no other qualifications coming in to the program.
Well, and I'd encourage as well other financial planners like ourselves to learn more about this so that they can send people to AFCs, because they are not probably equipped to necessarily have a continuing process to be able to help people with that. So
exactly, we want to integrate the field a little bit more so that AFCs know who their trusted CFP is in their area and vice versa. So if you want to get dually certified, that's great too, but you might just need to know who that other professional is and kind of have build that referral network.
Yeah. Well, I hope you in continued success, especially when I think of credit unions, I do think of community people going there. So small banks, all those things. I mean, it's just awesome that there's a resource for this. So I hope advisors take advantage of being able to send people here, and if it's of interest to you, go here and try to get help if you need it. So, anyway, Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was great.
Great meeting you. So AFCPE.org, go there. But otherwise, thanks again. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.